Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham made it clear to lawmakers this year what she wanted handled this legislative session. But is she getting what she wants? Well, I sat down with her this week to look at which of her plans are progressing and whether some of them will really lead to the changes we need. So let's get started with public safety. It was very clear that that was a top priority for you moving into this session. So at this point, we're a little past the halfway mark of this session. How are you gauging the success of your initiative so far?
Well, I give it both a thumbs up, doing a great job. The gun violence bills, which are all aimed at fewer guns on the streets and more protections for New Mexico citizens, they're actually moving a bit faster than we might have gauged. Some of the criminal penalty enhancements got one in the House 30 seconds, maybe a little longer than that. I think actually literally it was 90 seconds of debate and then tabled.
You know, you had talked before about how strongly you felt about rebuttable presumption, and we knew where those obstacles were the first couple times that it was introduced. It seems like it stopped even sooner than what it did in the past. Why is it that this just can't catch on and it has so much support from people from both parties?
I think absolutely it's that sort of extreme policymakers on the left are a bit too focused and narrow about we could make a mistake and someone who should be out. I got to find that path. And like other things that are worth doing, some things don't happen overnight. But I'm going to keep at this until New Mexico has real clarity in our judicial system, because I don't think that we do. I've got a new strategy for that, and we'll see if that's going to move through. But we got a third, we're 2/3 the way through.
Are you saying that you're going to have a different approach to pretrial this session, or stay tuned after this
I'm
session?
going to try it this session. I don't have it all wrapped up, so it's not that I'm trying to avoid letting New Mexicans know, but rather we're testing a couple options.
Some people are saying that you're taking the wrong approach on guns, that we're seeing the assault weapons ban, that we're looking at weapons that we see, unfortunately, more in mass shootings versus what we see on the day-to-day crime landscape are just handguns of any variety. So do you think that we're kind of missing the mark as to what the crime issue is in Albuquerque versus maybe a different part of your agenda to tackle gun restrictions?
I don't, and I'll tell you why. Look, handguns are a problem, but kids aren't supposed to have handguns, all right?
Right.
If I get rid of assault weapons, why you ban that, and this is really about, it's not about rifles, not about ranchers. This is really about the function of a gun, not the features. If this is a high-powered, it's a weapon of war, there's no reason to have those. Frankly, if the kiddo in Farmington didn't have those, maybe 3 people would still be alive and 6 people wouldn't be injured. I can't have a 15-year-old who continues to get access to guns who isn't held accountable. I need to prevent the next 15-year-old, and we're going to work really hard to get them into the right rehab settings.
You bring up getting them into rehabs. We have such a need for mental and behavioral health resources in our state, and that's something that both parties agree on, that there has to be more of the addressing the underlying issues as to why we see drug use, gun violence. But there really hasn't been a huge focus on getting more of those resources statewide, and also on the back end of that, staffing a workforce that could be able to handle such an influx. So why aren't we seeing more of those conversations?
Well, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
The new requirements in the Medicaid contract for insurance companies is you will build out our behavioral health network, and you will do it immediately. And there are real accountability measures and consequences if they don't. Last thing, we have a commitment bill that's making its way in the legislature right now so that we have more judicial tools, because adults who need behavioral health and are addicted to drugs do not volunteer for treatment, and the current treatment is still in that sort of emergency, and I feel still, even though we've got just little less than a third left to go, I feel pretty confident that we're going to get that bill upstairs.
So I looked into